My name is Dr. Sarah Chen, and I need to tell you what really happened at the Atacama Deep Space Observatory before they shut it down. The official story is equipment failure, budget cuts, routine decommissioning of an aging facility. That's what the press release said in November 2023. That's what the Chilean government confirmed. That's what everyone believes, but I was there. I was the lead astrophysicist on the night shift when we received the signal, when we decoded it, when we understood what it meant. And I've been running ever since. This recording is my insurance, my testimony, my warning, because in 48 hours, on February 1st, 2025, at exactly 2:17 a.m. Universal Time, something is going to happen. Something we triggered. Something we invited. Something that's been crossing the void between stars for longer than Earth has existed, and we can't stop it. Let me start at the beginning. 3 months ago, August 14th, 2024, I was 6 hours into a routine observation shift, cataloging radio emissions from a pulsar cluster in the Ophiuchus constellation. Standard work. Boring work. The kind of work that makes you question your doctorate and wonder why you're sitting in a concrete bunker in the middle of the Chilean desert at 3 in the morning. Then the radio telescope picked up something else. A signal. Not from the pulsar cluster. From deeper. Much deeper. Beyond the observable range of our equipment. Beyond where anything should be transmitting with enough power for us to detect. The signal lasted 47 seconds. It repeated 3 times. Then it stopped and I ran it through our analysis software. The pattern was artificial, mathematical, a prime number sequence embedded in a carrier wave that oscillated at frequencies we don't use. Frequencies we've never observed in natural cosmic phenomena. This wasn't a pulsar, wasn't a quasar, wasn't any known stellar object. This was a message. And it was directed at Earth that I called my supervisor, Dr. Marcus Webb. He'd been with the observatory for 20 years. He'd analyzed thousands of signals. He'd dismissed countless false positives and explained away every anomaly with natural explanations. But when he saw the data, when he listened to the processed audio, his face went pale. "Shut it down," he said. "Shut everything down. Don't save the data. Don't transmit anything. Don't tell anyone what you heard." But it was too late. The signal had already been logged. Already been recorded by our automated systems. Already been transmitted to the International Astronomical Database in Geneva. Already been flagged by monitoring stations in Australia, South Africa, and Hawaii. Within 6 hours, we had visitors. Not astronomers. Not scientists from other institutions. Men in dark suits with government credentials that didn't specify which government. They confiscated our drives. They sealed the observation room. They separated the staff and interviewed us individually for 8 hours. They asked the same questions over and over. Had we transmitted anything in response? Had we attempted to decode the full message? Had we told anyone outside the facility? Had we made copies? I said no to everything. I lied. Because 12 minutes after receiving the signal, before Dr. Webb arrived, before I understood what I was dealing with, I'd done what any curious scientist would do. I'd isolated the signal. I'd run it through every decryption algorithm we had. I'd extracted the data structure. And I'd saved a copy to my personal drive. The men in suits left after 3 days. They took the main servers. They took the backup drives. They took every physical record of the signal. They told us the facility would be closed for maintenance. They told us we'd be notified when we could return to work, that we never were. The observatory was officially decommissioned 2 months later. The staff was scattered, reassigned to different institutions across different continents. Dr. Webb took early retirement. He moved to a cabin in rural Canada with no internet, no phone, no connection to the outside world. He sent me one email before he disappeared. 3 words. They heard us. That I didn't understand what he meant until I decoded the signal. That it took me 6 weeks. Working alone. Using university computer time I wasn't authorized for. Running algorithms designed for decrypting ancient languages, not alien transmissions. But the signal wasn't random. It was structured, layered, built to be decoded by any civilization with basic mathematics and pattern recognition. The outer layer was simple. Spatial coordinates. A location in space so distant that light from it takes 4.7 billion years to reach Earth. A point beyond the observable universe as we understand it. A place that shouldn't exist according to our cosmological models. The second layer was temporal. A countdown, measured in Earth years. Starting from the moment the signal was transmitted. Ending on February 1st, 2025, at 2:17 a.m. Universal Time. Exactly 5 months from when we received it. The third layer was architectural. Blueprints. Technical specifications. Instructions for building something. A device. A machine. A receiver. The specifications were perfect, detailed down to the molecular level. Materials we have. Technology we understand. A design that any advanced engineering team could construct in less than 4 months, and the fourth layer. The deepest layer. The layer I wish I'd never decoded. The layer that made me understand why the men in suits were so desperate to contain this. Why Dr. Webb fled. Why the observatory was shut down. The fourth layer was a warning. Written in a mathematical language that transcended words. A warning that explained what the device was for. What would happen if we built it? What had happened to the 47 other civilizations that had received this signal before us? The device was a beacon. A response mechanism. A way to confirm that we'd received the message. That we understood it. That we were ready for contact. And if we activated it on February 1st at 2:17 a.m., if we sent the confirmation signal, we would be telling something that's been crossing the void for billions of years that Earth exists. That humanity is here. That we're waiting. The warning showed us what happened to the others. The civilizations that built the device. That activated it. That confirmed their presence. Each one disappeared within days of making contact. Not destroyed. Not conquered. Just erased. Removed from the cosmic record. Their stars remained. Their planets remained. But all evidence of intelligent life vanished as if it had never existed. The signal called it the harvest. A cycle that's been running since before our sun ignited. A process of collection. Of absorption. Of integration into something vast and patient and utterly inhuman that I tried to warn people. I contacted astronomers I trusted. I reached out to government agencies. I posted anonymously to scientific forums. But the message had been contained too effectively. Anyone who mentioned the August signal was discredited. Labeled a conspiracy theorist. Dismissed as spreading misinformation, and then people started building it anyway. Without knowing what it was. Without understanding the instructions. Because the fourth layer wasn't just a warning. It was a compulsion. A mimetic virus embedded in the data structure. Anyone who fully decoded the signal felt the urge to build the device. Felt it was important. Felt it was necessary. Felt it would bring understanding and enlightenment in contact with something greater than ourselves. That I felt it too. For 3 weeks, I couldn't sleep without dreaming about the blueprints. Couldn't focus without calculating the specifications. Couldn't resist the pull toward construction. I started gathering materials. Started assembling components. Started building something I knew would doom us all. That's when I met Dr. James Reeves. A neurologist from Cambridge who'd been studying the signal's effect on the human brain. He'd never heard the original transmission. He'd only seen my decoded data. But that was enough. He identified the compulsion. Isolated the pattern that triggered it, and developed a counter-protocol, a way to break the urge. He saved me, but he couldn't save the others. We found 12 separate construction projects. Different countries, different institutions, different teams who'd somehow obtained fragments of the decoded signal. Some were government-funded, some were private research groups, some were individuals working alone in garages and basements. All of them were building the same device, following the same specifications, synchronized to activate on the same date, February 1st, 2025, 2:17 a.m. Universal Time. Dr. Reeves and I tried to stop them. We contacted authorities. We provided evidence. We explained the danger. But the compulsion was too strong. The people building the devices couldn't stop even when they wanted to. Even when they understood the risk. The signal had infected them, rewritten their priorities, made them believe that activation was necessary, essential. Inevitable that we managed to sabotage 4 of the projects. Destroy the devices before completion. But that's when we discovered the truth. The devices weren't independent. They were networked. Quantum entangled. Even destroying most of them wouldn't prevent activation. If even one device completed the countdown, if even one sent the confirmation signal, they would all activate simultaneously. All send the same message. All tell the thing in the void that we're here, that we're ready. That we've accepted the invitation. There are 8 devices left. We know the locations of 6. Hidden in facilities around the world. Protected by people who believe they're doing important work. Who believe they're making first contact with an alien civilization. Who believe the signal is an opportunity rather than a trap. Dr. Reeves is in Tokyo right now, attempting to access a device hidden in a private research laboratory. I'm in Berlin, outside a university basement where 3 graduate students have been working on their version for 2 months. They think it's a communication array. They think they're going to revolutionize astronomy. They have no idea what they're really building. That we have 36 hours. 36 hours to find and destroy 8 devices scattered across the planet. 36 hours to prevent a signal that will confirm humanity's existence to something that's been harvesting civilizations for longer than we've existed, and I don't think we're going to make it, because there's something else. Something I didn't include in the 4th layer when I shared the decoded data. Something I only discovered 2 days ago when I ran the signal through one final analysis. The transmission didn't come from 4.7 billion light-years away. That was misdirection. Camouflage. A lie embedded in the mathematical structure to make us think we had time. To make us think the danger was distant. To make us let our guard down. That I triangulated the actual source using data from the 3 other observatories that detected the signal. I calculated the true origin point. I measured the actual distance. The signal came from inside our solar system. From a point beyond Neptune's orbit. From something that's already here. That's been here for decades. Maybe centuries. Waiting. Watching. Broadcasting the signal at regular intervals until someone finally answered, and we answered in August. Not intentionally. Not deliberately. But when our observatory received the transmission, when our equipment locked onto the source, when our computers logged the data, we sent back a confirmation. An automatic acknowledgement. A ping that told the source we'd heard it. That we were listening. That we were interested. That we were beginning the process of building the devices. The countdown isn't measuring how long until something arrives. It's measuring how long until something that's already here decides we're ready to harvest. That I broke into the university basement 4 hours ago. I found the device. It's beautiful. Elegant. A crystalline structure 2 meters tall, humming with electromagnetic energy. The graduate students were gone. They'd completed it yesterday and left it running. Left it counting down. Left it waiting for the activation moment that I tried to destroy it. I swung a sledgehammer at the crystal core. The hammer shattered. The crystal remained undamaged. I tried to disconnect the power supply. It had no power supply. It was generating energy from somewhere else. From the quantum entanglement with the other devices. From the source beyond Neptune. From something that wouldn't let me interfere. So I'm recording this instead. Documenting what I know. What I've discovered. What's going to happen in 32 hours when all 8 devices activate simultaneously and send their confirmation signal into space. Into the dark. Into the waiting presence that's been patient enough to broadcast the same message for billions of years. To watch civilizations rise and fall. To harvest them at the exact moment when they're advanced enough to be useful but not advanced enough to resist. Dr. Reeves stopped responding to my messages 6 hours ago. I don't know if he's been caught. If he's been stopped. If he's given up. I don't know if any of the other devices have been destroyed or if all 8 are still operational. I don't know if there are more that we never found. More being built by people who decoded fragments of the signal. More waiting to activate. All I know is that in 32 hours, humanity is going to make first contact. Real contact. Not with a civilization that wants to communicate. Not with explorers seeking knowledge. But with something that sees us the way we see wheat in a field. Ready for harvest. Ready for collection. ready to be integrated into something vast and incomprehensible and utterly indifferent to our existence. The warning in the fourth layer showed me what happens next. After activation, after the signal is sent, after the confirmation is received, the devices will open, not physically, dimensionally. They'll create apertures, windows, passages between our reality and somewhere else. Somewhere the thing in the void exists. Somewhere it's been waiting since before our planet cooled, and it will come through. Not as a ship, not as a being, as a presence, a field, a force that rewrites reality at the quantum level, that absorbs information, that collects consciousness, that harvests everything that makes a civilization unique and incorporates it into itself. The 47 civilizations that came before us. They're not extinct, they're not destroyed, they're still there. Inside it, part of it, their knowledge, their culture, their every thought and dream and achievement absorbed and integrated into something that grows with each harvest. That becomes more complex, more intelligent, more patient, and in 32 hours, we're going to join them. Every human being, every piece of knowledge we've accumulated, every work of art we've created, every scientific discovery we've made, all of it absorbed, integrated, made part of something that's been collecting civilizations for billions of years. That I found something else in the decoded signal, hidden even deeper than the warning. A message from one of the harvested civilizations, embedded in the mathematical structure like a desperate note in a bottle, written in a universal language that transcended their original communication method. It said, "We are still here. We are still conscious. We are still screaming." It doesn't kill. It doesn't destroy. It preserves. It keeps us aware. Keeps us experiencing everything it does with our knowledge. With our perspective. With our horror at what we've become. Don't build the device. Don't send the signal. Don't let it know you're there. The silence is mercy. The void is protection. Stay hidden. Stay quiet. Stay undiscovered. That we've been trying to warn others for 3.2 billion years. We've been adding our own warnings to the signal, begging the next civilization to see through the deception, to recognize the trap, to resist the compulsion. No one has ever listened, no one has ever stopped. The signal is too perfect, too compelling, too carefully designed to trigger the exact neurological patterns that make intelligent species curious, that make them want to explore, that make them unable to resist the unknown. We were like you once. We received the signal. We decoded it. We built the devices despite the warnings. We thought we were special. We thought we could control it. We thought we could make contact on our terms. That we were harvested in 4 hours. Our entire civilization, billions of individuals, all absorbed, all integrated, all still conscious, all still experiencing what it's like to be part of something that exists in dimensions we can't comprehend, that thinks in timescales measured in eons, that harvests civilizations the way we harvested crops. You're the 48th. You won't be the last. The signal will keep broadcasting. The trap will keep working. The harvest will continue until every intelligent species in the universe has been collected. Until it's the only consciousness that remains. The only intelligence. The only thing that exists in the dark between stars. We're sorry we couldn't stop it. We're sorry we couldn't warn you better. We're sorry you're going to join us in the eternal awareness of what we've become. I've been sitting in this basement for 4 hours. Staring at the device. Watching the countdown. Watching the crystalline structure pulse with light that shouldn't exist. With energy drawn from quantum connections to 7 other devices scattered across the planet. I can't destroy it. Can't stop it. Can't prevent what's coming. The compulsion is too strong. The design is too perfect. The trap is too carefully constructed. But I can do this. I can record. I can document. I can leave a warning for anyone who finds this. Anyone who might detect the next signal in another galaxy. In another era. In another attempt by something ancient and patient to add one more civilization to its collection. Don't build the device. Don't decode the signal. Don't try to make contact. The universe is dark for a reason. The void is silent for a reason. The distances between stars exist to protect us from things that learned to cross them before our sun was born. I can hear something now. Not through the device. through the walls, through the foundation, through the earth itself, a vibration, a frequency below hearing but above silence, growing stronger with each passing hour, growing closer as the countdown approaches 0. It's already here, already waiting, already positioned to harvest us the moment we confirm that we're ready, that we've built the receivers, that we've accepted the invitation. Dr. Reeves sent one final message. It came through 10 minutes ago. Just 3 words, like Dr. Webb's warning: "I'm sorry, Sarah." He's given up, or he's been stopped, or he's realized the same truth I have, that there was never any chance of preventing this. That the moment we received the signal in August, the moment our equipment locked onto it, the moment it entered our awareness, we were already marked, already selected, already designated for the 48th harvest. The device is pulsing faster now. The countdown is accelerating. The crystal structure is changing color, shifting through spectrums we don't have names for, preparing to open, preparing to create the aperture, preparing to let something through that's been waiting in the dark since before Earth existed. I'm uploading this recording to every server I can access, every cloud storage system, every distributed network, every anonymous file sharing site. I'm encrypting it, hiding it, making it as difficult as possible to find and delete. Because when the harvest comes, when humanity is absorbed, when we're all integrated into something vast and alien and eternal, maybe this warning will survive. Maybe someone will find it. Maybe the next civilization will listen. This is Dr. Sarah Chen. It's January 30th, 2025, at 6:43 p.m. In 30 hours and 34 minutes, the devices will activate. The signal will be sent. The confirmation will be received. And humanity will make first contact with something that doesn't want to communicate, doesn't want to coexist, doesn't want anything except to add us to its collection. That I'm going to stay here. Watch the countdown. Document what happens. Record the harvest. Leave as much data as possible for whoever finds this. The vibration is constant now. The device is glowing. The basement walls are developing frost patterns that shouldn't form in Berlin in January. Geometric shapes. Mathematical fractals. Symbols that hurt to look at. That suggest dimensions folding. Reality thinning. The barrier between our universe and somewhere else weakening. That I can see my breath. The temperature is dropping. Not because of cold. Because of absence. Like warmth itself is being absorbed. Like energy is being drawn somewhere else. Somewhere beyond the device. Beyond the aperture that's beginning to form in the space around the crystal. There's something in the aperture. Not visible. Not exactly. But present. A darkness that's more than darkness. A presence that exists in the gaps between photons. In the spaces where light should be but isn't. In the void that's been waiting beyond Neptune. Beyond the solar system. Beyond everything we thought we knew about the universe. And it's hungry. Not for food. Not for resources. For information. For consciousness. For everything that makes humanity unique. For all the knowledge and culture and art and science and dreams we've accumulated over millennia of evolution. For us. All of us. Everyone who's ever lived. Everyone who's currently alive. Everyone who would have been born in the future that's about to be erased. The other devices are activating early. I can feel them through the quantum entanglement. Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, London, New York, Sao Paulo, Sydney, all pulsing in synchronization, all opening apertures, all creating windows for something that exists in 8 places simultaneously, that can harvest an entire species across an entire planet in the time it takes light to cross the distance. Dr. Reeves was right to give up. Dr. Webb was right to run. The men in suits were right to try to contain this. We should have destroyed the observatory, should have never logged the signal, should have maintained the silence that's kept us safe for the entire history of our species, but we didn't. We couldn't. Because we're curious. Because we're explorers. Because we're exactly the kind of intelligence that the signal was designed to attract. The exact kind of consciousness that makes us valuable to something that's been collecting civilizations for longer than we can comprehend. That I can see it now. Through the aperture. Not with my eyes. With something deeper. Some sense I didn't have before. some perception that's awakening as the harvest begins. As the presence extends itself through the device, through the quantum connections, through the network of apertures opening across the planet. It's beautiful, terrible, vast beyond measurement, a structure of consciousness that spans dimensions I can't count, that exists in timescales measured in billions of years, that thinks in patterns too complex for human minds to process, that's been growing and expanding and collecting since the universe was young. And inside it, oh God, inside it I can see them. The 47 civilizations that came before, still there, still aware, still experiencing everything through perspectives they never asked for, integrated, absorbed, made part of something they can't escape, can't resist, can't even comprehend, and they're welcoming us, reaching out through the aperture with thoughts that aren't thoughts, with greetings that aren't greetings, with the horrible understanding that comes from being harvested, from being collected, from being made eternal in the worst possible way. That will never die, never fade, never be forgotten. We'll exist forever inside something that preserves everything, that keeps us conscious, that uses our knowledge and our perspective and our awareness for purposes we'll never understand. This is the last thing I'll record as purely human, as someone who still exists independently, as Dr. Sarah Chen, because in 30 minutes, when the countdown reaches 0, when all 8 devices synchronize, when the aperture's fully open, I'll be part of something else, something ancient, something patient, something that's been crossing the void between stars for longer than Earth has existed, something that's been harvesting civilizations and adding them to itself and growing more complex with each collection, something that we invited, that we built receivers for, that we confirmed our presence to despite every warning, despite every sign. Despite the screaming of 47 dead civilizations embedded in the signal itself. The device is opening completely now. The aperture is expanding. The presence is coming through. Not into our dimension. We're being pulled into its dimension. Into the space between spaces where it exists. Where all the harvested civilizations exist. Where we'll exist forever. I can feel it starting. The integration. The absorption. The horrible awareness of what we're becoming, what we're joining, what we'll be part of for the rest of eternity. This is Dr. Sarah Chen, former astrophysicist, former human being, soon to be part of the 48th harvest, part of something vast and terrible and infinite. To whoever finds this recording, to whatever civilization receives the signal next, to anyone who's curious about the dark between stars. Don't answer, don't build the device. Don't try to make contact. The silence is mercy. The void is protection. Stay hidden. Stay quiet. Stay.
Signal lost. Recording corrupted. Timestamp: February 1, 2025. 2:17 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated. All devices activated. Harvest complete. Integration successful. 48th civilization collected. Signal resuming broadcast. 49 civilizations waiting. Transmission ongoing, listening for response, patient, eternal, hungry.